Thank you all for coming on our first real sales meeting after the kickoff sales meeting. Thank you so much for this. Kind of in the continuation of that theme, I mean, what we're going to hear a bunch about this year is Boulevard Realty is about the people. It's about the agents. It's about the people here that are designed to help the agents. So we had tried, Aaron and I are significantly tired of interviewing people. We've been doing that for months. But we now, I think, have in place the people that are going to help execute our plan and your plan for 2015. So we're going to go over people today. So we took Joe and we moved Joe over to the Kirby office. So Joe is the daytime person at Kirby Monday through Friday. And he's going to have more interaction with the agents, more support for the agents at Kirby, more ability to help people. He will probably not be high and he will not be asleep. That would probably be a good thing for helping people over there.
Where am I going to get my... No, I'm just kidding.
Joe's motivation is to make it fun. Gotta have a little humor around here. We want it to be lively over at Kirby. We want to add more people. We want to make it easier for you to pop in with your client. We're going to continue to have events over there and add more people and more exposure. So, I mean, Joe's designed to help with that. Where we had the weekend assistants over there too, I mean, they just feel like they were lost. So we have now hired a new individual, Kira Jones. I don't think she's here right at this moment. But Kira has come on board and she is going to be a weekend receptionist. And then we're taking Megan and Kira and we're just alternating them all the time so that they're going to alternate weekends. Kira will work here one Saturday and Sunday and she'll work at Kirby the next Saturday and Sunday. It takes Megan there one weekend and over here so that Megan can better see the people, she can understand the properties better. I think there'll be this rotation of how Kira and Megan will work. I think that'll work better for Kirby and it'll work better just for the appointments in general on the weekend. So you'll see this rotation of how that's going to work over there. I think that's a better plan also. No real question about reception. Okay, so with that, today Kathleen has been hired as our community liaison governmental relations agent. Yes?
Who is it?
Kathleen Powell, wherever she is.
Oh!
Hello. Hello. All right, Kathleen is going to assume this role. And I think it's a little hard to understand initially, but bear with me for a moment. Anything that impacts you or one of your homes or any homeowner issue, Kathleen's role and responsibility is to identify it and educate you on these ideas. So we will be creating a template and a calendar for city council meetings at the City of Houston, the City of Westview, Bunker Hill, any of these little entities, the Planning Commission as it meets every other week, the Houston Archaeological Historical Society, the Midtown Redevelopment Board, Metro, school boards, all of these meetings, Kathleen will create the calendar, will attend whenever possible, will review every time, will summarize for us, and we'll be able to upload it to give you better information, make you more aware, and assist you with any of these things, from changes in the energy code, changes in the sidewalk policy, what's being replatted, what's on the Planning Commission. It's going to be very informative for us to give you back this information for your clients so that you can know what's going on at the City of Westview. You know what's going on at HISD. Some of it might be tax rates, some of it might be new changes to water heater policies. How you doing there? So, she will attend the meetings and summarize, and any of those, of course there's a certain amount of political things that will be going on as we get new mayoral races and we get new issues on changes to the charter. She'll summarize the information and make it available to you. So if there's, we're going to have a list of every homeowners association and what day they meet and the issues that they're dealing with, whether it's Mandel Place or Oak Forest or Westbury. I just think we need more information out there so that we can help assist you with any of these sort of changes that might be going on, from bus routes to light rail, to anything to do with the federal government, the state government, or the local government, Kathleen is going to be our community liaison in governmental relations for that. So if there's something that you're particularly interested in, let me know. But we're going to start, you'll notice a new procedure for us to educate you a little bit better. We're not going to overly, some of you are not that remotely interested in some of this stuff, but we're going to make it available for you so that you can know what's going on. When someone purchases 77 acres at I-10 in Sawyer, then we're going to know about it. We're going to let you know that's been purchased, and here's what they plan to do at the permitting department. Okay? So, welcome, Kathleen. I think this would be a great resource for the homeowners that own a home, or someone that's interested about what's going on within the city, the greater city. I mean, it could be the Woodlands, what's going on over there. So she's going to be keeping up with that information. There's a lot of that information going on. Okay, any questions about that position?
Bill,
Yes?
you let Jay know if she wants this.
Jay, there's just me right
Yeah,
here.
there's a lot of
Just one
seats
right
over
here.
here.
Anyone else? Dave, you want to see? No.
I got a need for
No.
a photo shoot.
Photos are good. GQ, photos. Okay. Any questions about that position? Community liaison, here's Kathleen. All right, we have hired Rhonda to assume the internal marketing coordinator. That's our title here, Rhonda. So we kept looking at this position. How can this position work with Julie to help facilitate agents, okay? And we can, and anything to do with digital marketing, anything to do, with the promotion of an agent, then you're going to have this ability to work with Julie and Rhonda to help promote yourself, your business, and your activities here. Rhonda brings a wealth of marketing experience from before her career in real estate, but what she also brings is 12 years of experience in real estate. So we're getting a marketing person with a real estate background here. She will continue to sell a few houses at the moment that she has her pipeline, and will transition out of that at some point in the future. But we've got to take care of her existing clients. We would not want to do that. But the way it works now, and we'll be sending out some more information. Julie, 35 years of marketing experience. It's a long time. It's a wealth of information for you to be able to go back and say, all right, if you, Stephen, say, I want to do a mail out, you're going to send a little email to Rhonda and says, I want to do a mail out. And Rhonda's going to say, Stephen, we're going to teach you how to fish more than once. We don't want to do one mail out. We want you to do a series of mail outs. And they want to have this theme, and they're going to have this content over here, and we're going to reach this audience, and we're going to have this results over here. We're going to be able to not just create one mail out for you, we're going to create a program for 2015 that's going to have an outcome-based deal. We want to do a mail out to the medical center in hopes of finding some land so that we can get our developers 16 more units over here. So we're going to target delinquent property tax owners, non-owner occupied people. There's going to be and the goal is to get land at $32 a foot and to get 16,000 square foot of it so you can have 19 more listings in 2016. That's the objective. And I think by working with Rhonda on how to reach that audience and Julie together, we're going to be able to arrive at a better result than just doing a mail out right quick and having comments or Aaron throwing out there. So Aaron will coordinate these activities. You still can just email marketing at your BLVD or whatever. If you need a flyer, they're going to kick that up. But we want to take each agent and we want to get you a program of how you can be successful. What is it that we want and how are we going to get there? What's the roadmap to success there? And everyone's different, so there's not one template for how it's going to work. But now Rhonda will take over the Facebook, the Twitter, the YouTube videos, the Pinterest, our Instagram, and we're going to come back and explain it to you in just a little bit. Only got hired yesterday. Had one meeting. But I think we're going to come back to you and show you how these work together to get you a better desired outcome over there. So, Rhonda will keep her same desk where she's at, but we'll work with the marketing group there. Kathleen is going to office in with the marketing department up there, so it's Julie, Thomas, Kathleen, and Aaron in that office. Rhonda is still working out of her current desk, whatever, because she still has clients that she's going to see there. But I mean, this little team approach is going to work, and then we're going to go show you how we're going to handle that. Right? Yes.
Can we have a meeting about these marketing?
Here we go.
strategies?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
we can on February 27th. But yes, yes, we are going to do that. In addition to Kathleen and Rhonda, I want to introduce you to Maria. Hi, Maria. Maria is here. This is her first hour of work here at Goldwater Realty. Just so you see Maria. Maria is adding under our construction design phase. She indirectly works for Frank over here. Here's Maria. She is a selection design coordinator to help us help Stevens builders and Donna's builders and any builder that you might have, your homeowners, your people wanting a list, anything that they need. She is a design and resource for selections and infrastructure of homes, okay? She will help me with my stuff on the houses that I'm working on, and I mean, that's probably her primary focus, but it's a resource for you guys. If you have a client and they're thinking about remodeling their backsplash before they put their house on the market, you would get with Maria, and Maria would go with you over there and say, yes, here's 42 ideas of what we can do. She can pull up a little iPad, she can design you a backsplash, pick you a pattern and a grout color, and give your client some good advice on what it is that they want to do. Colors, tile, any of those sort of things. We're going to have our own design selection coordinator on staff to help with that. Her primary focus will be to help these smaller builders get organized. I have builders, and I'm selling a $1.65 million house on Harvard. I don't know what the hell it is. So if I don't know what paint color it is or tile color, then how can I sell that house? And the builders are being reactionary. They're telling us this stuff later. We want to take the package of information, get it organized so that you have a more effective listing, so that you have a listing packet to send to people that are interested. So we're going to create some templates to be able to help what might be some of these smaller builders, to help Jim Ford get a builder, and help David Rourke get a builder, and help Brad get a builder. We're probably not going to go get David Weekly. We're going to go get a smaller person who needs the assistance of Aaron and Rhonda and Julie with Thomas. They need the assistance of Maria over here. We need John to go over there and help them. It's a high level of support that we're able to go offer some of these things to help you get more listings, help your listings sell more easily, and to be a resource for your past clients, which is the referral network for future listings and future sales there. So, I mean, I've consistently invested in people over here to provide us the opportunities to reach more maximum potential of what we have over here. So here's the people, and so same thing. I know that I'm busy from time to time. If I hire a few people, maybe I won't be quite as busy. Who really knows? I'm probably going to be busy. But if I'm busy, Brandon is a resource to be able to help you answer a question. You need to calculate the square footage of something or read a survey, and I'm not particularly responsive to you within 1 minute. Brandon's designed to help you with that. If he can't help, Andre might be able to help. Andre can't help. Really, we go Brandon, Rhonda, Kathleen, Andre. Okay? So here's 2 more realtors on staff to be able to help support the agents if there are questions. They will be here Monday through Friday from 9 until 5:30, and optional Saturdays available to go help you. So they're staff people designed to help you with a listing package, a contract question, with an issue. If I'm not available, I'm your #1 resource over here. Brandon's your #2 resource over here. Happens to be at the baby doctor at the moment. But if you need help, there's additional realtors, trained realtors, who are designed to help you there. So, I wanted to bring on people with real estate experience to be able to help answer any questions that I might not be able to accommodate. Any questions about the people? All that's good. So then, yes, what we want to do is get with you and see what can we do to maximize whatever it is, your potential that you want to be. I want to go from 3 million in sales to 5 million in sales, or I want to have an average of 7 listings, or I want to represent more buyers, or more higher priced buyers, or whatever your objective is. That's what we kind of want to know. What's your objective? what's my comments on your objective and how are we gonna get there? And then we're gonna go, and Aaron's been meeting with people constantly since the sales meeting. He's done a very good job of putting together initial meetings to kind of conceptually come up with these ideas so we can get a more firm plan for each of you. So if you haven't reached out to Aaron and say, I want a meeting, you should reach out to Aaron and say, I want a meeting. Because Aaron will continue to meet with you, and then we'll get these other meetings organized so we can get your plan of attack going there. Any questions about that? I want to be able to take the agents and help you reach more potential. Okay? This is what all these people get paid to do. They're designed to help you. Okay? Any questions about all that? No, you're not a very inquisitive group today. Comments?
So, like, for example, Maria.
Maria.
If we would like to chat with her, just call her directly.
Call
and say-
Maria at yourbld.com, or
Okay.
you'll get her contact information. She has a weird number.
Yes, it's there.
Here you go.
That's wrong.
That is the right number, is it?
No.
No, that's not it. She has a weird number. It's 718, but other than that, Maria at yourbld.com, or she's going to be here. So Maria's basic day will be in the morning. She will be here from 9 to 11, and she'll be doing things. We meet together for our little group huddle over here from about 11 to 1. We plan to have meetings, basically here in the conference room, 1, 2, and 3. We want to meet with Stevens Builder on Blodgett, review his floor plans and go over his selections and pricing so we can look in the marketplace what's going on. So maybe we can make $5,000 worth of decisions and get him $15,000 worth of increase on something. So that's what Maria's designed to do. And then she'll go out in the afternoon, out into the field, or to lighting stores, tile stores, granite stores, insulation companies, roofers, to be able to bring back that information here. So when if you have a question about lighting, we have the information. We're going to have our own little samples going on over there. We've cleared out all the writers that were in my office, and we have moved them to the back office in the conference room. But yes, back to Maria. If you have a client and their grandmother just died, and we've got a house over there in Westview and it hadn't been touched since 1962, Maria can go over there and come up with you with some common sense ideas of what we could do. Maybe paint the pink walls, realtor beige, or whatever it is. But yeah, she's a resource to be able to go over there and help and say yes. She works with Frank and Mario directly, and like I said, if we need Mario, all the time we're sending Mario to change a lock or adjust a cabinet. He's happy to go to your listing and adjust a cabinet.
And he's great at it.
He's very good at it. He came from that background. He's a resource to, I don't know that he's building your island over there, your listing, but if there's something simple, Mario and Frank can coordinate it. But Maria's going to help us get organized with the vendor list so that you don't have to call Frank and ask for an air conditioner. It'll be on the vendor list, and here's AirTech, and here's 4 of them that you might be able to use. Often I'm realistic. You're probably going to need us to help you get there because we have more pull with AirTech than your client, John Smith, calls AirTech. We might be able to get him out a little bit more rapidly. Yes?
My heater went out. They came to the house after I received 2 first bids. They saved me $2,500 and then put in a first line, unit into the house in 4.5 hours.
They had pull. Cynthia, had an inspection at a house, she just represents the buyer, but said there was a inspector says there was a gas leak. Well, of course, when the people come home at 7 o'clock, we don't want them to die. We need them to make it closing, right? So, Frank's able to go send a plumber over there to test everything. There was no plumbing leak anywhere, but at least we verified the information and we could reply back that A, we were responsive, our seller thought it was really good that we got someone over there pretty quickly, and then we were able to get back and contradict maybe your inspector was screwed up and didn't have the right information, which helps us lay some groundwork that maybe everything they say is not the gospel, right?
Right.
Right. It wasn't there. There's no gas leak there. No gas leak there. Where there's gas, there is a smell. If you have a stove and a water
absolutely.
heater, there is. Y'all understand there's
You
gas
know it.
there, and there's go. It doesn't mean that there's a leak there.
There's a pilot light.
We tested everything there. There was no gas leak at that house. That's okay, doesn't matter. That's just an example of Frank's ability to get someone, a plumber there at 7 o'clock at night, which makes us look good, which is the main purpose of it. Frank's designed to make us all look good. But yeah, so did I answer your question about Maria?
So is that number right in that 3 should just be an 8?
No, it's 718-594.
We're not sure where this number came from. But that's fine. Thomas,
Same one as Andre's.
it's Andre's number. Well, Maria and Andre are very similar.
We're close, they're in the same.
They're very close, yeah. We can fix that. This is just a
They're very
template.
close.
We're gonna have this reorganized and sent out to you here shortly. But yeah, but yes, that's kind of new. I think people are doing a pretty good job of using John. I mean, if you haven't used John for something, this is what he gets paid to do also. Help make your life easier. Pick something up, drop something off, go to Pearland or Spring Branch or wherever we don't really want to go. I hate Pearland in case I haven't mentioned that lately. I was there Saturday. I'm going to have plan 4198 back on the resale market pretty soon. I hate plan 4891, but it is what it is. So yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of people here designed to help a firm that's our size. I mean, I went back and looked at other firms and what's the ratio of people to agents or whatever, and I think this level of support for this number of agents is pretty darn good. And we won't have more agents, so it's not like I'm trying to add these people so I can add 20 more agents. I don't want, 65 is a perfect number for our size firm. Okay, no questions about all this? People. All right. Let's move on, and we're gonna talk for a moment about the oil factor. Okay, we need to talk about the oil factor because it's gonna be on our minds for the rest of the year. And it's a factor. In real estate, everyone's gonna wanna know what is the impact of declining oil prices on our market. And as with all things, real estate is local. It's local. It can impact one neighborhood significantly more than it can another neighborhood. And we feel like we're not giving you enough information that you can take with you when you leave. I talk a lot, but we're going to try on these sales meetings to give you more tangible information. So later today, we're going to have basically a white paper, just a summary of the impact of oil, the oil factor, that Aaron and I are going to send to you. We did not have it quite organized in advance here or whatever, but I think certainly there is a factor with oil with regards to real estate. It would be irresponsible to say that there was no factor. There is a factor. And it creates, the biggest factor, I think, is going to come in the financial markets, okay? The banks themselves are very nervous about the exploding growth in residential real estate, both the rental market, the commercial market, and the individual residential market. And the banks are restricting capital, which means there's not going to be a lot of new money going to any of these projects. And the problem then comes because that'll cause a slowdown of new construction, and it will create a problem on the renewals. When the builders are on a renewal of their notes, there's going to be tremendous pressure very soon in the residential market when these notes come due. Okay? It's going to
Like
cause a problem.
2009.
It's going to be the exact same thing. It is the exact same thing and happened with the exact same speed as 2008 and 9 with regards to the financial markets. They're moving very rapidly to cut off lines of credit. I visit with people every day. One day they had $450,000 line of credit. The next day they have $50,000 line of credit. Hard to pay for flooring and roofing and materials and payroll when you take that big of a cut. Okay? It happens in my engineering clients, my pipeline clients, the same thing. They have a line of credit based on their receivables. They paid every bill on time. They paid it all fine. But when they no longer have their line of credit, they're not going to be able to buy any more material or pay for what they've got. So they need everyone else to pay for what they've already ordered here as quickly as possible. So then they turn right around and offer a discount if you'll pay in advance. You were getting X. I was charging you $80 a foot. If you'll pay me now at $70 a foot, because I need the cash, because I don't have my line of credit anymore, and it's a snowball effect. It's a snowball effect in our economy here locally. Okay. The greatest impact, I'm telling you, is going to be in these townhouse developments and these residential developments that were multi-houses that have all these delays because there's not enough employees, right, to work on the houses. And there's this delay in the concrete world, and there's the delay in the framing world. And because of the delay and an annual renewal, and it would have been easy to get a 6-month extension, they're gonna get a 1-month extension. And we're gonna give you that 1-month extension if you pay down your loan 10%. So you borrowed $15 million, and you've got $30 million worth of houses, and we were gonna sell them in a year and a half, and everyone was gonna be happy. Well, on that renewal, we're happy to loan you the money again for 1 month, but I need for you to pay down $150,000 of your loan. They don't have $150,000 because they don't have any money until the closing, right? It's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem, and you're gonna see
You think the
there are-
prices are gonna start dropping?
of townhouses in Midtown and the
In like
east side.
a single
Yes, I do.
family
Okay.
gated little
Sure I
9
do.
12 unit?
Sure I do. Yeah, sure I do. Sure I do. I think there's no way around it. Now, reality is what we're gonna see is today, there's absolutely no impact today. Okay, there is no impact today. You're gonna see sales are up, prices are up, inventory's down. Same thing we've been talking about for 30 months in a row. I'm sure Alex just has me on the recorder over here. I say the same thing every month. There's no impact in January, no significant impact in February, no significant impact in March because there'll be more buyers coming in March. Okay? There's no significant impact at the moment. There's going to be an impact. Brace yourself for an impact over here. All right, so we want to reemphasize, and I think these little things are good. This is a little 1-minute deal, just reemphasizing. I think, you have to be careful what she says. She says, thanks to declining oil prices. Gotta be careful, don't say that. That's really bad, when people are getting laid off, and there's that. So I would not have said that, because it looks like we're really grateful for falling oil prices, but we're not grateful for falling oil prices. But let's just watch the little 1-minute thing for a moment, just say we did it.
I'm HAR Chair Nancy First with your Houston Housing Minute. Another active month of home sales in December helped make 2014 a record-breaking year in the Houston real estate market. Single-family home sales were up 11.6% compared to December 2013, while total property sales rose 11%. Prices reached record highs for December, with the average price hitting just over $280,000, up 6.6% from a year ago. The median price climbed to about $210,000, up 11%. However, they did not beat the all-time record prices set back in June. Total dollar volume for 2014 reached a historic high of $24 billion versus $21 billion in 2013, an increase of almost 13%. December's home buying volume caused inventory to shrink to its lowest level ever, a 2.5 month supply. While there is only a slight decline from a year earlier, it is significantly below the nation's 5.1 month supply. HAR expects the pace of home sales to normalize in 2015, thanks in part to declining oil prices. This normalization should enable inventory levels to grow, restoring balance to the market. I'll be back next month with the January report. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Nancy. Okay. So when someone asks you today, there's a cautionary approach, and the reality of it is every indicator is still extremely positive. You say the same thing. Prices were up, inventory was down, average price was up. Okay? So all of those indicators were fine. And I think the same thing is going to happen in January. I think the same thing's going to happen in February, same thing's going to happen in March. Here's the headline. January's numbers are going to be announced in just a little bit, okay? And they're going to be up, okay? Follow me. They're going to be up. But the percentage of which the increase is going to be off significantly. And the headline is going to read, home sales off by 50%. And what was off by 50% was the increase, okay? So if you make $100,000 a year one year and you make $150,000 the next, that was a 50% increase. and the next year you only go to 175,000, you got a $25,000 increase. You increased, right? We're gonna give you some templates on what to say, but we're comparing 2013 and 14 are the greatest years in real estate in Houston, Texas. They are the single greatest years. Dollar volume, price, every indicator was up. And for 2015, that benchmark is not going to be reached. Okay? It's just not going to be reached. We're not going to have that many sales. The sales are, that was the high mark. So the headline is going to say that we're off, but it's the increase that's off. The inventory is really the factor. Inventory is the factor. And there's many other extremely positive things going on in Houston, Texas. I do believe, and every leading economist believes, there will be an increase in the number of people moving to our city. Whether that increase is 40,000 or 60,000 is probably to be determined, but there'll be a net population increase, okay? And you're going to see that the inventory, while they use normalizing, I think will come back into a balance, okay? So I think you're going to see people who are nervous put their house on the market, and we'll see how many of them want to beat the coming correction, okay? Where we might have put the houses on March 15th, somebody's going to go put them on February 10th. They're going to try and beat the rush a little bit. So you're going to see inventory rising pretty rapidly, I think, and it'll rise very rapidly. I think the pace with which people try and get ahead of the curve is going to be increasing. Average houses in the average neighborhood are going to sell just fine. They're going to sell with speed that we would have normally had in a marketplace. The most expensive houses in the neighborhood, houses that probably were way overpriced to begin with, houses that have a deficiency are going to take a very long time to sell, and they're going to receive numerous low offers along the way. Get ready for it. Sunset got an offer today. It's $2.2 million, and it got an offer for $1.9 million. Now, we would have laughed at those people. Now, Sunset will not take anything less than full price. He doesn't care if it sells now or in the fall. I mean, he's not going to take that, but it's an interesting, this is what we're going to get. 2013 and 14, if you didn't offer $20,000 over the asking price, they laughed at you, right? Now people are going to try, they're going to tempt, offering significantly less. You must prepare your sellers for what are going to be lower than normal offers. You're going to have to prepare yourself how to be very polite about it, and you're going to have to work your way up on the negotiating. We're going to get to negotiate again. It's going to be a buyer's market. It's not quite yet a buyer's market, but it's going to be a buyer's market where the buyer is going to have the ability to wait some people out. And some people are not going to have the ability to wait.
Is there any way to project like about how long that we could expect that to come along? Like
About how long it's going to
3
last or when it's
months,
really
4
going to be
months,
impacted?
when it will
When it will
kind of
start.
start to turn like that?
It's starting now.
It's already started.
It's starting now.
Okay.
Yeah. The low offers have started already.
Okay.
I'm telling you, the banks are very nervous.
Okay.
Okay? They're applying tremendous pressure to sell something, get something under contract. Okay? Where it was new construction and whatever, Lucian Oaks or whatever, and he didn't want to buy her till the end.
Right.
Those people are going to want to buy her in the midpoint. They're going to
So,
offer you an incentive. You just, I don't know if you can even search by this, but look at the realtor bonuses at the moment. Look at every one of Highland Homes and David Weekley and Perry Homes, where hell, there were no bonuses in 13 and 14. There's a bonus and there's an incentive for any one of those builders.
I wrote 3 offers over the weekend for like 5200 Wesleyan in that block, and they weren't full price offers. They were just a couple of thousand under,
Yep.
and they were all turned out.
Is that the Levitt development?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Lovett's a little more arrogant than some. They have lots of money, so they never like to play well with others. They don't participate in the recession. They're not like there are people who are bank driven. They have cash. If it's bank driven,
And I told the
they're gonna.
buyers that. They
So
said they
this is not to panic you.
Yeah.
There is no panic. I think the markets we're in are fine. I think home sales are going to be up in our market. I don't see declining prices in the resale market. That's not, the inventory is too low.
Yeah.
Okay? But if I'm selling a house in Woodland Heights and the average house is $800 or $900, if I'm modern bungalow, I'm fine. Okay? But if you have $1.8 million houses in a $1 million neighborhood, probably gonna be a little upside down there. And you're gonna have a more difficult time, because that guy's gonna be cautionary, he's not gonna want that house right now. Now, doesn't mean that there's not an exception to every rule. Over time, it's going to be fine. I think we're gonna see this dip. I think you're gonna see more inventory in February, March, April, May. We're gonna be in the dog days of summer, I think. And then I think the price of oil will recover to some degree, whatever that means. And I think by the end of the year, we're gonna be doing much better, but we're gonna be back to a balance again. Get ready, I mean, you're just gonna have to negotiate. We haven't negotiated. The negotiation is how much more do I
It's
pay?
been a
That is no
it's
longer
been a cakewalk.
Problem,
concept.
yeah.
Yep.
So if someone's thinking about
Humility has
building something, would you tell them to wait, or, I mean?
If the average price for land had been $40 and went to $60 the next year, and they paid $87 last month, and they want to go build a house, and they want to take the average and say the average house was $1 million in 2012 and $1.2 million in 2014, and now I'm going to build one and think it's going to be $1.65 million, yeah, they should just wait. They should just wait. The price of land is going to adjust. It's going to come back down. There's going to be fewer buyers for the price of land. Might be a good time to buy some land and hold on to it. But I don't think you're going to have the bidding wars for land. I think the guy that paid the highest price and going to try and sell the highest priced house is probably going to needs to rethink what he's doing over there a little bit. For a while, I mean, the reality of it is, I think so. More people will move in, it'll adjust itself fine, and you're going to be fine in a shorter period of time, whether that's 2016 or not. But I think immediately you're going to have a tougher time. If you're building $499,000 townhouses, it's not going to matter. There's a buyer for that, just fine. There's not as many buyers for $899,000 townhouses, right?
Right.
You can't all
You think
think
that
we're going to have
middle market's
$899,000.
fine?
Do what?
You think the middle?
Middle market's fine. Middle market's fine.
Yeah.
No impact. No impact on that deal. And I have Willard, it's $850,000. I got an offer for my $850,000 townhouse today. I mean, it's not like there's no buyer. There are more buyers out looking for houses than any January in the history. There's more buyers. There's plenty of buyers. They're going to take a little bit longer to look, and take a little bit longer to buy, and when they offer, they ain't offering full price.
It's not a cakewalk anymore.
Yeah, it's going to be balanced. I think it's going to be balanced. They need the realtor more than ever. Remember, they didn't even need us in 13 and 14. So I mean, there are. You don't want to be thankful for oil. I think the correction is net. I think the descent was pretty rapid. Probably, I think you go from $120 and you go down to $48. It's pretty rapid there.
And they announced today that there's been 8 straight days of increase in the oil.
Yeah, the stock market was up
So
200
it's
points yesterday.
going to
It's going to fluctuate for a little bit, but I mean, we're not going to go back to $100 oil anytime soon.
Oil was up $1.25 yesterday and $1.64 this morning.
Yeah. Now, so I was in, my guy with Ivory Capital, they're a $1 billion hedge fund, and we're going to meet with them, and then I was with some other people. The Port of Houston has never been busier. The traffic at the port. Remember, declining oil prices are good for petrochemical companies, which are very good for Houston, Texas. It's very good for the Port of Houston. It's very good for the railroad.
environmental
It's very good
companies.
for the trucking.
Yeah.
My friends, pay attention to the average quantity that's produced and moved in a truck in Harris County. The numbers have never been greater. When goods are being moved around, it means people are buying them. The headlines nationwide are going to be very, very, very positive. Declining oil prices have increased the middle class ability to go out to eat and go to the movie and buy another polo shirt over there at Mega Marshall's. Okay? They are going to be the beneficiary, and it will cause for a booming economy and a nationwide, positive deal. We were the opposite of this recession when there was booming oil prices and drilling going on in Eagle Shale. So when the rest of the world was on pause, we have not been on pause. We were better than. We're going to get to feel some national effects of our economy being more in line with the rest of the world. Yep.
So since Billy's announced that I had 30 to 35 years in marketing, advertising is usually the first thing that goes with big companies, and they just talked about this in Ad Week last week, that Schlumberger and Halliburton have pulled their advertising out of magazines, pulling out of big shows and things that they do, because people don't see the value of advertising. this is a time when you need to advertise as much as you can, whether in marketing, get those cards out, because other realtors are going to be dropping their advertising. And why would, in the world, would you want to drop your marketing efforts when everyone else is dropping theirs? Have yourself out there when nobody else is. Perfect
I think
time.
there'll be a lot of positive things that come out of it. I think the balance, like I say, I don't want anyone to lose money in real estate, but I think it did not feel good to buy a house in 2013 and 14, and the playing field needs to be equal. And I think it's gonna be way more equal. And we're gonna have to learn when someone offers $100,000 less, I thank you for your offer, I really appreciate it, I'm gonna be happy to present it. My seller's just not in any interest in selling at that price point. And they're gonna then come up 20,000, and they're gonna come up 30,000. I mean, they'll keep coming up because they're gonna test the waters, unlike the last few years, and see what they can get. Get ready for it, prep your sellers for it. And the buyers are gonna make you offer $100,000 less, and you're just gonna have to do it, because we don't really have any ability. You're gonna have to continue to show them these numbers. All things are local, and in local community, in the community of the Heights, I think we have the least amount of worry. I don't want to only be a Heights-focused area, but I don't think you have to worry too much about it. I don't think in the middle of Westview you've got to worry about it. There's money tied to that medical center and infrastructure over there that's not adversely impacted by the price of oil in any particular moment. So I mean, most never, but $4 million houses in Memorial are going to sit on the market a lot longer. Okay, those were oil guys who were pumping a lot of money, and they're going to be more caution. And the guy, instead of buying the $4 million house in Memorial, going to come buy a $1.35 million house in the Heights. Because that's just, they're going to be more conservative. Those high-end buyers are going to buy lower again. And you'll see the stress of those particular price points in each market. So, we're going to summarize this very briefly in a format that you can provide to a buyer and a seller, and it kind of makes some sense. But I wanted to go over because I don't want to appear like I'm some ostrich with my head stuck down in the sand. It can't be that way. I think the reality of it is that, there's been no immediate impact in the inner city with regards to declining oil prices, but our cautionary tone will say that there probably will be a more balanced market as we continue throughout the year, okay? And probably houses at the high end of the spectrum will take longer to sell and will probably have to be far more negotiable than they have in previous years, right? That's gonna be a positive spin on how we say that.
We're just more useful in this environment.
Yeah, I think
There
so.
won't be this, but
And we're gonna
it's
have
fine.
to constantly pay attention to this. And then we're gonna have this the oil factor, okay? But we're gonna continue to hit home about these headlines, because the headlines, these media people, they just find the worst thing, and that is these headlines constantly.
And they twist it
it's-
to where it
yes.
sounds like something it's not.
It's saying that, y'all understand that ExxonMobil made $3.5 billion last quarter, okay? And it was down from the $5 billion they made in the previous quarter. So it's off by 33%. They made $3.5 billion, folks. That's a lot of money. Most average Americans hope they go down in profitability. They don't want ExxonMobil to make $3.5 billion a quarter. They don't want to pay that guy $48 million a year to be the president. They're out of touch. Some of these companies are out of touch. And so the average person is happy for the decline, happy for cheaper gas. Airline prices will go down. There's a lot of factors that the average person is glad that their spring break vacation is going to cost less than it has in the last 4 or 5 years.
But then they also say that in the next 2 years, Houston and the surrounding areas are supposed to get 40,000 new jobs.
That's the minimum
in
number.
2015 and 2016.
Yeah.
So,
Which is down from the 112,000 that we had last year. So the headline's going to be population growth off 66%. It wasn't off. The increase was off. Yes.
Yeah, Schlumberger made an announcement a week ago that they cut 9,000 jobs.
That's right.
It was 9,000 jobs globally.
Right, I
Not
saw
one
that.
single Schlumberger employee in Houston lost their job.
Yeah.
But they
Can't
also,
say not one, but
So some of
yeah,
it's
but they also
Yeah.
look at it as an opportunity to cut dead weight.
That's
So
right.
somebody that's been there for 20 years, that's just working for a paycheck, they're firing those people, because they want that hard-charging, enthusiastic, game-changing employee to replace that guy.
We
So
don't want to
they've
be
already-
insensitive to the people whose lives are going to be impacted by lost employment. I think it's a sensitive time in our economy that we not appear too insensitive to the people, because it will be a difficult time for some of these people. But yes, I think as a percentage of their employees, it was not a significant number. It's a they probably have 10,000 job postings at
Right.
Schlumberger, right?
Right.
And they laid off 9,000, which means we didn't hire 5,000 of those people that we were gonna hire to begin with or whatever. And they do it so their stock price, they're forced to take care of the analysts in New York so their stock doesn't decline. It's a headline sometimes. And the reality of it is that it's not gonna be as big an impact as you might want to think. Yes.
So a lot of people are, people are speculating and are getting nervous, and some people are wondering, like, are we gonna return to the market of mass foreclosures? And, people who are well qualified aren't gonna be able to get loans anymore?
No problem in the financial market from that standpoint. The federal government, no, I don't
We're
think
not
that any
having that.
impact. I think if you want to go, if you were an insurance salesman last year and you want to go be a builder and build 2 townhouses on Center Street, no one is going to loan you any money to go be a builder. Okay? And if you only sold 2 last year, you're not going to get the money to build 18 in 2015. That money is no. But if you want to go buy a house and put 5 or 10 or 20% down and you have a credit score of 680 or better, you can get a loan just fine. No impact.
Okay.
No impact. Not going to loan you 104%. But there's no impact to the consumer on lending. It's only the investment side of the banks restricting that. It's speculative capital that is going to be, it's already significantly impacted.
So what about projected development, like plans in East Downtown? I'm looking at the Lovett House right now with Wire off Lamar. And there's a lot of plans. I know the Metro Rail's still happening, but they're talking about new strip centers and, all types of stuff for that side of town. Is that gonna slow down?
Yeah, I had
Is
somebody
the
ask me,
rate-
how can I guarantee that
Is
we'll
the rate of
still have?
increase
Yeah.
going to slow down? Yeah, I think the rate of the increase is going to slow down, but that area is still developing and still going to develop just fine. I don't think I'm still high on the east side. Price per square foot, but the price of where it fits into the city,
Yeah.
really,
It is good.
instead of people being able to afford all these deals, maybe instead of buying a $700,000 house in Shady Acres, they may go buy a $449,000 one in the east side, right? They're going to buy down into these emerging areas
it's a
and think that
great-
I'm being conservative by not taking on $750,000 worth of debt. Those areas are going to be fine, but I wouldn't buy an $850,000 townhouse on the east side. Or I wouldn't invest in one right at this moment. I think it's going to be a harder sell.
Yeah.
This high-rise coming downtown, like, you think that's gonna be fun, or is he gonna have a hard time selling it? This high-rise that's gonna be by the House of Blues,
Which one?
I think Randall Davis.
No, they have plenty of foreign investment money, the investment from China, the investment for Asia, the investment from Mexico will continue to finance the high rises. It's tied to immigration, those buyers, that financing is all coming from private sources, from people from out of the country who are gonna continue to invest in Houston,
They're
Texas.
selling them, right? Because I know they're.
Well, on the
finding-
resale market of some of those things, I think it's gonna be a little harder in 3 years down the road or whatever. I'm just saying that the buildings will continue to be built just fine. And they'll sell the brand new units just fine, no impact, insignificant. Yep.
Because of
So
the
if you're gonna list a $1.2, $1.3 million house in Highwood that's 10 or 15 years old, would you price it where the comp state should be today and expect to sell it for a lot less? Or would you price it
I'd expect to sell it for less.
Would you price it less and try to be ahead of the curve, or
It's a very good question.
if you price it less, are they still gonna want $100,000 on it?
Yep, they sure are. Sure are. If you price it less, are they still going to want
If you
a
try to
further
hedge
reduction?
against them.
We need to go back to this game again, folks. You need to plan on a reduction, okay? You need to think if your guy wants $850,000, you're gonna have to list for $879 and take $30,000 off. And if Everyone's gonna feel good about it, but no one's gonna list for $879 and offer you $879.
So
So
price
that's-
us a
Wait,
little
wait,
bit.
wait, 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 what you and Cynthia are talking about is a $1.3 million house in the Heights, right?
That's right.
So, my listing in Montrose, we had the bidding war the first weekend, and right now I've got an offer in for 10 grand over ask,
What price
cash
point?
offer,
What price?
675.
Well, that market's
It's a
doing
different
just
market.
fine.
No,
It's
so
a
that
that's
market-
what, well,
that
that's what
market-
I wanted, that's what I wanted you to
That
say,
market-
because,
Yeah, because
No
that's
impact.
the price.
because what you guys are talking about is
Two
a
different
different
things.
price
Two different
break,
things.
so.
Two different things. No impact on that here.
No, we're
Plenty of,
here
same thing.
stronger than
Instead of the
this.
guy looking at the $1.2 million house, a lot
Yes.
of them are gonna be buying $679,000 houses, and there's gonna be not enough inventory, and yes, that's what's gonna happen. People in each little subdivision, they're gonna slightly downsize, which will cause more stress into those price points. The guy selling a, same thing, the $685,000 3-bedroom, 2-bath bungalow on Merrill had multiple offers. But I got 15 buyers for that, and I can't find one. There's not that many 3-bedroom, 2-bath, totally remodeled, 1-story bungalows on 50 by 125 lots in my neighborhood. So I think that's a lot of money, except
Right.
supply and demand is gonna be just fine. And not everyone can afford them. Those people cannot afford 1.1 million. They can only afford about between 600,000 and 800,000. And so they're willing to take the 685,000 and pay 10,000 over in order to get it.
Well, Cynthia's question was a terrific one, but I wanted to make sure that you were,
Well,
were in the right price bracket.
I'm in the right
Because
price,
it's
and,
not
and
happening
two factors.
in
A,
my
it's the price factor, and B, it's the 10-year-old. The new house is still, everyone's always still gonna want the new house, even if they're $100,000 or $200,000 more. They're still gonna want the new house. They're gonna want the builder to negotiate. They're gonna want something, a refrigerator, something. They're gonna want, they're not gonna pay over full price even for that brand new listing, I don't think. But the one that's 10 years old has a more difficult time anyway, okay? And definitely the buyer of that house is gonna want a concession at whatever price you put it at. I'm just telling you, they're gonna want a concession. And they're gonna want more than $10,000 on a 10-year-old house. So I think you price it at the comps,
Still use your comp.
conservative comps. You know, you gotta be able to compare, you can't run the comps of houses that are 3,800 square feet to 4,500 square feet and think that the 10-year-old ones, when there's a brand new one, and average the two together and come up with some fake number. There's no number in between there. There's either the 10-year-old houses or there's the new houses. The new houses are gonna sell higher for price per square foot. What I always find is that, you know, the seller thinks, well, they're getting, Whitestone's getting this for this house, so I should be able to get the same thing. But their windows are 10 years old, their roof's 10 years old, their countertop is out of
It's two
date,
different
their
animals.
grouts, I mean, they're not, you gotta be able to compare to other 10-year-old houses. Or make an allowance for those sort of things. But I think, so there was old versus new, what do? You run the comps, do them comparable, and leave yourself some room to negotiate. When do you put it on? I still think you don't, not everyone jump up, there's not enough buyers in February. So I mean, I still think you wait till March 1 or March 10 or some day over here in the selling season or whatever. And then you do anticipate it taking a little bit longer, and you anticipate that they're not gonna pay you full price. Leave yourself some room to negotiate both in the price and in the option period. No appraisal issues, not gonna have those issues unless you're just, there again, the very highest price deal.
It's not a market crash. It's
No,
just-
no, that's right. It's
Right.
the pendulum is just gonna shift back
Coming
to
back
the
to
middle,
normal.
which is the good houses will sell fine, and the not so good houses will take longer and not sell as much. Whereas the not so good houses, there were still bidding wars for those things in 13 and 14. I mean, I'm amazed every day that someone's willing to pay X for those things, but they didn't have any other choice
Right.
to pay for them. The prices are still going to increase. I mean, I don't think the prices are going to decrease. The price per square foot is not significantly. I think bidding wars for land, you know, I think we're gonna not pay so much on West 28th Street, okay? Shouldn't be as much as Harvard and 16th. I mean, there should be some disparity between some of these numbers. But the east side's still gonna do fine. I mean, your north side, those are gonna be, some of the retail will slow down a little bit.
Yeah, and
It's harder to get a loan for a wine bar today than it was 2 years ago.
And I understand what you meant with renewals on the notes. as far as
There's gonna be
investment.
pressure from builders, there's gonna be realtor incentives again. There'll be a lot of realtor incentives here come spring. There's gonna be a whole lot of realtor incentives come June. houses didn't sell. Might be a good time for someone who wants investment houses again. I mean, cost of the materials is gonna come down a little bit. Remember, we had the factor of demand, and we had such rising prices of everything. The demand for sheetrock and lumber and building materials, the price of those materials is going to come down. The cost of the raw good, the oil and the petrochemical is cheaper today than it used to be, but there's gonna be less demand. It's gonna be cheaper to get a window. It's gonna be cheaper to get a Kohler toilet than it was in 2014 in reality.
It's just normalization.
Yeah, I think it's a balance again. These were all excellent questions. This is what I wanted to go over. So we're going to give you a little summary sheet of these two things, headlines and oil factor, so that you have them both for buyers and for sellers or whatever. And then if we need to customize something for you, happy to do that too. Okay, so I think we have lots of people in place. So on the training, to get back to it. So the boot camp of 3 days was just too much for everyone to handle. So here's what we're doing. Next Tuesday, so we're gonna divide the boot camp into 3 separate weeks. Do it on Tuesday. Gonna be from 10 to 3. Gonna be the same topics. Next Tuesday, which we'll meet at Man Ready on the side room over there. So we have our own little room, and we'll have refreshments and a bathroom and everything. We'll do. We're gonna do the buying side first. So Tuesday, the 10th, is all about the buying. Everything about a contract, the seller's disclosure, anything about buying a house. From that side, it's the buy side. Okay. The following Tuesday, the 17th, is the listing side. The listing agreement, listing presentation, listing materials, how to run a comp, anything to do with getting a listing, keeping a listing, and selling a listing. And then the next week, the 24th, is realtor marketing, realtor branding. So that's what we're going to do. Divide up those 3 deals. Alex can film them all. We'll have them on Back Agent if you can't go. We need to have a general idea how many people are coming so that we can have lunch for people. But I'm assuming there's going to be 15 or 20 or something at the end.
Where did you say?
10 to 3.
So we're not having sales meetings those 3 weeks?
That's correct.
Okay.
Just these deals here, and then we'll regroup with the summary of the numbers at the next deal, at next week.
Are they all at Man Ready or just?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, the class is going to be at Man Ready at 10 o'clock, which will go upstairs and over to the side building, the side room, or whatever, where we met before.
By this afternoon, you can register with Back Agent or email me.
Okay? Let Eric know. You can sign up through Back Agent. We just need a general number. So any questions about how that's going to work? It's dialogue, information, but I think it's going to be better than ever before. So if you have anything, if there's some major contract update, I'll send out an email. We'll talk about it at the sales meeting. But we're going to go over again, have intense dialogue and discussion about each of these issues. Okay? I think if you're new, they're perfect, training classes.
It's a good refreshment.
It's a good refreshment for most people. So that's the next 3 Tuesdays. What else I got? Any other announcements? Miss Pettit is working on a Family Fun Boulevard event for Go Texas Day on February 27th. We don't know exactly what it's going to be, but we're going to have a Go Texan themed announcement pretty soon.
Is that the barbecue cook-off weekend?
It is. That is the actual Go Texan Day in Houston. It's that Friday the 27th, yeah. We'll have our own barbecue here.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. We'll piece together.
I'll wear my cap.
Any other questions, comments going on? Any other concerns? All good? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome Maria, Hira, and Cynthia, Rhonda, and Kathleen.